In a previous episode of Garage Noise, I shared with you how to repair cracks in your plastic bumper cover. Today I'm going to share with you how to refinish that repair area without painting your entire bumper. We're going to blend the clear and the color. I'm going to give you all the tips you need to get that job done. Let's get into it. This is the bumper we're doing today. It had some minor damage here and some minor damage here. Now the customer did not want to, they wanted to keep this budget friendly because they're trading this vehicle in. But this bumper is ideal for a smart blend because we've got sections of bumper that we can break off very easily. So right down here, there's a section where this bumper narrows real well. So we can break it off right here and blend the clear right there. It's down low on the bumper cover. It's out of the sun, so it doesn't get direct sunlight all the time. And we also can blend it right here as well. If this was in the middle of a door, I would not do it. If it was in the middle of a quarter panel, in the middle of a hood, those are the areas you do not want to do a smart blend or blend your clear coat in those areas. It's going to look horrible. It's not going to last because it gets direct sunlight all the time, and that blend line is going to show up and it's going to look terrible. So I would not even attempt it if it was something like that. This is a good candidate for a smart blend. We're going to prep this out. All I have to do is sand this primer right here. We're going to use 320 grit sandpaper, smooth it out. Then I'm going to go over it with 600. We've prepped out the rest of this panel that we're going to be blending. How you want to prep out for your smart blend, we want to sand the area that we're going to clear coat with 600. And that's what we've done here. We've sanded this area here. We've sanded this section here all the way up to about here. Now, where you do the smart blend, you want to sand that with 1,000 to 1,500 grit sandpaper, and you want to sand it well beyond, we haven't done this yet, but we're going to sand this well beyond where we're going to do our blend. So we're going to probably sand it out into here, okay? We'll blend the clear coat here, but we're going to sand it out into here. The reason we do that is if you get a little overspray here, we can easily polish this out, and 1,000 or 1,500 grit scratch you can polish out with a buffer, okay? So that's what we'll do in both of these sections right here and then right here. Blend it, and then I'll share with you how we wash it in and what I mean by washing it in, but we'll put a product on here that's going to help that clear coat to melt into the old clear. So it's going to help that new clear coat melt into the old and get a good bite. So let's get right into it. We'll sand this primer. I'll share with you how we're going to tape this up and blend this bumper. Okay, so this is 320. We're just smoothing out this primer. I don't want to take the primer off. I don't want to break through anywhere. I just want to smooth this out a little bit. Then we'll go over it with 600. It's already been blocked. It's already straight. All right, that's it. We'll do this spot down low. Okay, so this is an ultra-fine sanding sponge. This is a 600 grit sanding sponge. So we can sand this whole area that we're putting clear on. Now we're putting clear over all of this, and we're going to blend these two areas. That's the only areas we're going to blend. So we have to prep out the rest of this panel for good adhesion for our clear coat. So we want to knock all the shine off, make it nice, dull, and uniform. And I'm going to go over this primer as well, but I'll leave links in the description to these products. You can do this all by hand. And you could even do this with an aerosol paint. Now this particular color is a tri-stage paint, so it's a base color white, and then it's got a mid-coat pearl, and then the clear coat. Now you may just have a solid color, or you may just have a two-step paint, which is just the base color and then a clear coat. In that case, you could get aerosol can from like O'Reilly's with the color code. So you get the color code off your vehicle, have O'Reilly's mix it up in an aerosol can, blend the color. A good 2K clear coat that you could use on this, an aerosol clear coat, is Spray Max Clear. It's Glamour Clear. It's a 2K clear made by Spray Max. I'll leave links in the description if you want to do this with aerosol paint. Okay, so let's talk about the blend. This is the sandpaper we're using. This is a 800 to 1500 grit sandpaper. It's made by Sunmite, flexible sandpaper. But this, we're just gonna lightly scuff this. Like I said, I'm gonna go about 4 inches, maybe 3 to 4 inches right around here. You wanna just knock off the shine so you have a good adhesion for your clear and for your blend, because this is where we're gonna blend this nice little area right here. That's all we need to do there, right there, that's it. All this has already been sanded, so I'll just sand in here, a little bit past this, and I'll just be able to hand polish that down low like this. Now you don't have to tear apart your entire bumper to do this. You could mask off all these trim pieces. The only reason I tore this down is because we were going to paint the entire bumper on this and clear the entire bumper, but because it has such nice areas to break off the blend for the clear coat, and the customer wanted to save some money, I went ahead and changed my mind and told him I would go ahead and blend this. If he was wanting to blend it in any other panel that's not inconspicuous like this, I would not do it. This has already been cleaned, buffed, and prepped several times. So we're gonna go ahead and clean it before we start our taping with isopropyl alcohol. We'll clean it real well, make sure it's nice and clean before we start our masking process. But we're gonna blend the clear coat right there, and then right here, I've looped this tape over these blend areas, because when we blend our clear and we wash it in there, we don't want a bunch of overspray going on the areas that we haven't sanded. Now we've sanded back to about here, so we're covered if there's a little clear that goes underneath there. We'll blend the clear here, blend the clear here, and then we'll wash it in. And what I'll use to wash it in is upol number 9, or you could just simply use a urethane reducer just to wash it in. Now you don't need a real heavy coat. You don't want to put a heavy coat because it'll fisheye it. You want it to be wet, but not super wet. You don't want to overdo it. Darius is mixing up the paint. We're going to put our base color on first on the primered areas, get those covered, and this little spot here. And then we'll move on to the mid-coat pearl, and I'll share with you how we blend that out. This is the gun we're using today. This is the YT160. This is a gun that was sent to me to review. And what gun does it look like? It looks exactly like the Aeropro A610. This is a R500 paint gun. Basically, the YT160 is an upgraded version of the R500 as far as the appearance. This sprays just like the R500. Very good gun. Low volume, low pressure paint gun. We're gonna apply our base color white on this first. We'll get the primer covered. I'm not gonna start blending it. I'm just gonna cover the primer, let the overspray do the blend, and then we'll come back and do a little bit of a blend on the base color, and then we'll apply the mid-coat pearl. This is opened 2 turns out from closed. We've got our fan pattern. We turned it wide open, and then I narrowed it back about a half a turn. And then our air pressure, we're gonna spray at about 22 PSI. We'll let this flash off for about 10 minutes. Probably won't even be that long, 10 to 15 minutes. Let it flash off, and then we'll apply a second coat. I'm gonna let this flash off, and then I'll do one more coat, blend it out just a touch, and then we'll move on to the mid coat. Tack cloth, we're just going to wipe down. There's a little lint on there. I'm going to wipe it down, wipe down the areas surrounding it. Okay, now we got the pearl in here. You can see how it's translucent. This is the mid-coat pearl. I'm just going to put probably 2 coats on. I'll put 1 good coat on. I'll do my blend at the same time. So I'll just blend it out a little bit past the base color. So if I went the base color here, I want to go about 2 to 3 inches past that on either side of that base color, so we just get a good transition in the blend. mixing up the clear now. This is the clear we're using, the Finish One FC710. It's a spot panel clear. It mixes up 4:1, so we'll find our 4:1 mixing ratio right there. We don't need a ton of clear. So we're just going to mix up 1 part. We're going to use the slow hardener. We're going to wash it in with this upol blend number 9. This is basically just a reducer in a can. After we get done blending the clear coat, we'll pull our paper, that looped masking paper that we have, we'll pull that, and then we'll spray a light coat of this on it. All right, this is sealed. See, we're still going to use this YT160. So instead of 2 turns out, we're going to go 3 turns out. So 1, 2, 3. 3 turns out from closed. We'll open that fan pattern up a little bit more. And then the air pressure I'll use is probably around 28 PSI. Okay, we'll let this flash off for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll apply our second coat of clear. Okay, so now we're going to pull this paper right here. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit. And you see right there is where our blend's at. It's a little dry area. I'm just going to push this back here a little bit. A little dry area there, a little dry area there. Now we're going to take, and you can do this with regular reducer out of a can, but we're going to use this upol blend number 9. And I'm just gonna spray a little blend right there, right there. I'm gonna go a little farther than you might think out into where we sanded, just to help wash that in a little bit. And that's it. We might have a couple little particles of dust we wanna wet sand out, but overall, this finish looks really good. So, I'll share with you how we buff that out a little bit after this cures. Now you can see, even though it just looks a little bit dry, it can easily be polished out right there with just a little bit of compound and a light polish. Now we're ready just to polish this blend. We've got a little bit of dryness right here. I'm not even going to use a machine to do this, okay? All I need is a microfiber towel and a little bit of compound. We'll put it on here. It's not even worth getting a machine to do this, and we're just going to do this by hand. And really all we need to do is to clean up a little bit of that dryness and polish it out. Because this is such a small area, this is all we need to do. But recap, when you're blending a section, figure out where you're going to break it off, where you're going to do your clear coat blend. From that point, you want to sand with between 1,500 or between 1,000 and 2,000 your blend area. Remember to make your blend area larger than you think is necessary. We're going to make it larger than we think is necessary because we want our overspray to land on sanded paint. once you do your blend, wash it in with a reducer or some kind of product that burns the clear coat into the old clear. Let it cure. If you can let it cure for 3 or 4 days, that's perfect. And then you can polish that dryness out of it and you'll be good to go. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it helps you when you're doing your project. And if you want to learn more tips and tricks about paint and body repair and how to do your own repairs at home, check out the channel. Consider subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. We'll see you next time on Garage Noise.